What's going on, glorious people? Hope you guys are doing well. Josh here from Brothers Green, and welcome to What You Can Cook For. So this is a series that demystifies the idea that things like takeout and fast food are cheaper than making food yourself. So every episode I'm gonna kind of dive into another food or a dish or something and show you how to save money and eat delicious food without breaking your bank. And today I'm gonna show you guys what you can cook for the price of Domino's pizza. So in the past I've done things like what you can cook for eating McDonald's in a day, what you can cook for the price of coffee a day, and just kind of like making mind-blowing food that is simple, delicious, and of course cheap, which that's the important thing. Like, we're here to save money, and imagine if you can save a lot of money on food, the things that you can buy, you can invest in, all the cool stuff that you can do just to live a better life. And food to me is all about living a better life, using it as the vehicle to make friends, connection, challenge yourself, be creative. So let's get into it. So I really wanted to see what would happen. Honestly, I have not ordered delivery pizza in a very long time. So I was like, I wonder how much it costs these days for a large Domino's pizza. Just some simple pepperoni, not one of those crazy supreme, just whatever. So I went on the website, and with literally delivery charges and tax, it came out to $18.35 plus tip, about $21.35. If you're doing like a $3 tip, maybe that's generous, but I think that's pretty good, you know, 20% or so. So $3 tip, $21.35 to literally get one pizza. So I took that money to the market and I bought a ton of stuff, and I thought it'd be fun, since it is pizza, to make up an entire Italian feast. So unlike when I did How to Live on $3 a Day, which is a great challenge you can check out by clicking the link below, what I did was I spent more than my budget, but I calculated how much I actually used. So that way, I actually can calculate how much olive oil I used. So I used about a quarter of this olive oil. So like, instead of saying, okay, well, I spent $4 on olive oil, I only used $1 worth. So when you're seeing this breakdown, you're gonna see is how much food that I used worth. And then I have all this extra food that I can use to make other stuff, which is pretty freaking amazing. So one thing to keep in mind when you are shopping and you're trying to save money, go to the market. Don't just try to get the ingredients that I have. Look to see what's on sale, look to see what looks fresh, look to see what's cheap, look to see what's in season. There's a lot of different ways you can save money, but kind of go around and see what works for you and kind of mix and match. Like, okay, I need my noodles, what are some good affordable noodles that I can buy? Do I want to splurge on that extra 50 cents to get to this or to that? And you can decide, but like, I love shopping on a budget because it kind of gives you this box to be really creative within, and it's like thinking outside of the pizza box. So the very first thing that I got, and keep in mind a lot of this stuff, making Italian food, so quintessential Italian stuff, was a big can of crushed tomatoes, and that was $1.59. Then I got two pastas. I got the Penne Pasta, 99 cents, hell of a deal, and Linguine, 99 cents as well. And these were actually all pretty much bought from Trader Joe's, so I wanted to find a balance between a place that was like, not super expensive and also not super cheap, because I know a lot of people out there have different price ranges. I felt like Trader Joe's is kind of cool in the middle. Then I got some mozzarella cheese. I used $1.99 worth. Then I got some Parmesan cheese, about $1.50 worth. I got some bacon, which is great to render down. I got about $1.45 worth of that I used. Then I got some salami, because they had pepperoni, but it was a little more expensive, so I thought salami was nice. $1.50 worth of that. I did check the prices, but I do have a garden, so I went outside and I picked some fresh stuff, because it was ridiculous to me to go buy tomatoes when I have them growing, but I wanted to show you, if you have to buy them, what they would cost. So I spent about 50 cents worth of some tomatoes, kind of like cherry type tomatoes. I got about $1 worth of carrots I'm using, 90 cents worth of kale. This is what a kale, basically it's like a tree looks like. This nice baguette, I used half of it, so it's about 99 cents. I can freeze the other half, dope. Olive oil used about $1 worth. Red wine vinegar, about 50 cents worth. Onions, I got one big onion for about 59 cents. I got some frozen broccoli. You could do fresh, of course, but I used about 50 cents worth of that. Green beans, I used about $1 worth of green beans. Garlic, I used 2 heads, about 25 cents worth or so. I used 1 lemon, which is about a quarter as well, 25 cents. Some fresh herbs that I got from my garden, I kind of calculated to be about $1. That seemed about right. And then turkey, for the turkey meatballs, which one of my most expensive items, I think the most, which was $2.49. Still amazing. So now I'm gonna show you guys what you could cook instead of ordering a pizza just like this one. And of course, if you're feeling lazy and you wanna order a pizza, go ahead and order a pizza. But like, I encourage you to cook and get in the kitchen. It will change your entire life. It's like the most amazing things. Of course, you're gonna eat better and you're gonna feel better, but there's so many benefits when you're cooking you don't even realize. Saving money, you know, making new friends, creating new connections, challenging yourself, trying new things. Food is just like, it's this mind-blowing, super cool thing. But let's get into the actual cooking portion. The very first thing I wanted to do was some prep. I wanted to roast garlic, so I basically took 1 head of garlic, cut it in half, put it in some tin foil with a little oil and some salt, wrapped it up, threw it in the oven about 400 degrees. Just let it roast for like 10, 15, 20 minutes until it gets really soft, and it's gonna come out this like delicious buttery garlic. It's gonna blow you away. Next, you gotta make the master tomato sauce. That's something that's gonna simmer for a while. The longer you cook it, the more delicious it gets. So first you wanna get a little pan out, turn the pan on, kind of medium high, get some olive oil in there. Toss in a bunch of minced garlic. The more, you know, the garlickier. In Italian food, like the flavors are very bold and garlic is a very big one in that. So I kind of mix that around, make sure it doesn't burn. Then I cracked in some pepper. Italian food, they use a ton of black pepper. And they don't just use it as like an afterthought of like add pepper, add pepper. It's like, you really want to taste the pepper if you're going to be using it. It really just adds like a nice spice to it and really good fragrance. So put some pepper in. So then throw in some onions. I used about 3/4 worth of that onion for this, and then the rest go in the meatballs, and they're all nice and diced up. Throw them in there and mix them around. My kind of secret tomato sauce, add some carrots. It adds a really nice sweetness if you don't want to add sugar. Then once they're cooking for a little bit, kind of simmering down, you know, you want to get the onions a little bit translucent to kind of get the fragrance out and all that deliciousness. Then you want to add the can of tomato sauce. So add in your can of tomato sauce, mix that around a little bit, add in some water. You add in the fresh oregano, you kind of mix that together, add in some salt, you can add a little more pepper if you want, and then all you're really doing is bringing it up to a boil and then simmering it. And simmer it for as long as you humanly can. Just keep in mind it might splatter up a little bit as it gets thicker and thicker as the air tries to release. So just be careful, you don't want to get hit with that like molten lava tomato sauce. Well, that's kind of an initiation, it happens sometimes, but as long as you're stirring around, it shouldn't be a problem. To make the meatballs, and of course you can use pork, you can use beef, and a lot of times Italian food they might use like a mixture of like pork, beef, veal, whatever, but I just like turkey meatballs. They're a little bit lighter, they still have good flavor, and they're a good vessel for deliciousness. To my turkey, I'm gonna add some of the onion. Then I'm gonna actually grate in garlic. I don't really feel like mincing more garlic because it can get all sticky and smelly, and you know, garlic smells good, but it can get all over your kitchen. So I just kind of grate it in, but do whatever you wanna do. So then I add in some chopped oregano, some chopped parsley, both fresh. You could use dried if you got it. Salt, pepper. So then I'm gonna add in some Parmesan cheese and we'll sprinkle that in there. You gotta sound a little more Italian when you say a Parmigiano. So Parmesan, and I also use a little bit of Pecorino Romano. It was a blend, which I thought was kind of cool because you get a little bit of both. Then all you wanna do is mix them together and then form them into balls and just fry them in some oil and just kind of have fun. Fry them in a little bit of oil, and all you're really trying to do here is brown them. We actually don't wanna cook them all the way through, so just kind of brown them on both sides, mix them around a little bit. They'll still be a little squishy, then take them out because we're gonna eventually add them back into our tomato sauce later. So they'll be extra glorious. I thought it'd be really fun to make a pesto. The problem is pestos can get kind of expensive with like the pine nuts and using a ton of basil and this and that. So I've been looking up to some hacks, and one of my favorite things with pesto is to just leave out ingredients you don't have. It's still gonna be freaking delicious. So what I did was I actually did like a broccoli pesto with a little bit of basil. So into my little zipper dipper thing here, zippity dipper, add some oil, add a little bit of broccoli, some of that Parmesan mixture, cheese blend, half juice of a lemon, some fresh basil, garlic, a little salt, a little pepper. You could also add some of the zest of a lemon. That would be really nice. I sort of forgot about that. And then just blitz it up, and at that point taste it. If you want to add some more salt, you know, if you want to add some more oil, whatever it is, just kind of have fun with it. And then you got this beautiful pesto, which we'll put in our pasta very, very soon. All right, for this pesto dish, it was kind of like a mixture of a carbonara a little bit, and then also pesto. I just kind of like really appreciate both dishes, and carbonara usually uses eggs, and like, you know, it's kind of this like kind of creamy sauce that doesn't actually use cream. So I was kind of playing around with that a little bit. But I took the pan that I cooked the meatballs in, because there's already a lot of flavor in there. Why not? Why throw it out when you can use the flavor? Between no flavor and more flavor, you use more flavor. So first thing I do is I toss in that bacon into the pan, and I'm not adding any oil or anything, because what I want to do is render this bacon out. So I cut it into little pieces, threw it in the pan. I'm just kind of rendering that out, moving it around. And yeah, you want to crispen it up a little bit, but like sometimes I like bacon that has a little bit of chew, so kind of find whatever balance works for you. So once it's rendered, I added in some of those cherry tomatoes that I just kind of cut up, the ones from my garden, some green beans, and just mixed that around. I cracked in some pepper. Decided to throw my broccoli because I had more than I imagined. Mix that around, then add in the pasta that's cooked. So I cooked my linguine. It's a big pot of water with a lot of salt. And there's this like spinning technique thing you can use. I just threw it in there, cooked it until it was nice and almost good to go, like just a little bit under, because I'm gonna throw it back in, add some of the pasta water, and that pasta water has a lot of starch, so when it goes in there, it kind of like gets in the noodles, it kind of creates this really nice, beautiful sauce. And then you just kind of mix that around, and you can add Parmesan if you want, you can add a little more salt if you want at the end, but you have this beautiful, beautiful thing ready to go. At the end of the day, you end up with this beautiful linguine dish with the bacon in there. And of course, you don't need that bacon. All these can be made with vegetarian very easily. That is amazing. This is also a great cold pasta dish too, but warm of course. This is like room temperature now because I'm sitting around. So much flavor. And it also has like a little bit of a lightness to it, even though there's bacon in there, just because of the pesto, which I appreciate the lightness sometimes. If you get Italian food, it can be like, you know, so it's nice to have a little bit of light slipped in there too. So I have a ton of Tuscan kale growing in my garden. Of course, I calculated the price that it would cost to buy it, and I wanted to make this kale salad. One of my favorite things to eat is kale, because it's like, I feel like it's like the powerful man's salad. You know, we usually think of salad, it's like, oh, salad, but it's like very hearty. Like so when you're chewing it, you're like, oh, I feel good. I feel like I'm getting all this deliciousness into my body. So to a bowl, I added some lemon juice, half of a lemon juice. Keep the seeds out. Hold the seeds, man. Red wine vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and you could emulsify it and do the whole thing, but I'm like, whatever, just mix it around a little bit. So then I add some chopped parsley, some chopped oregano. I actually take some of that roasted garlic, just a little bit, kind of squeeze that out, put that in there. That's gonna be extra delicious. Salt, pepper, mix that up nicely. Then I just shave some of those carrots right into there, just kind of add like that nice sort of shaved carrot effect. The old shaved carrot effect experience. Then I took the salami, because I had a lot of salami. So I took some salami, kind of cubed it, longed it up, rectangle-y, cubely thingies, whatever you want to call it, rustic. So a lot of Italian food is rustic, so I kind of mixed that up, threw that in there, and mixed it all together. And then I just took my kale and just kind of ripped it off the stem and just threw it in nice pieces and just sort of massaged it around in that whole dressing for a little bit. And you end up with this beautiful kale, and the vinegar and the oil balance each other out, and you get some lemon juice in there, and everything just goes really well together. If you really want to funk it up, you could add some olives, but this is, honestly, I haven't made a salad like this in a long time, but I forgot how much I love it. You're eating a lot of pasta, it's really nice to have that freshness too. It just makes you feel better, you know? So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my penne pasta, try something a little bit different. I put it in just like a little bit of water, got the water boiling, but it's like just enough to kind of cover it. And just kind of put the penne in there and just sort of stir it around every once in a while. Eventually I'm gonna add the tomatoes into there and kind of build the whole pasta dish inside of that. So I don't wanna add too much water and have to strain it and blah, 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 the other thing. While it's cooking away, I wanna make this garlic bread. So I take some of my baguette, and I have two sides of the baguette. The first one, I'm just gonna take that roasted garlic, and roasted garlic is amazing because it's not as potent. It's still really delicious, but it gets kind of sweet and almost buttery. So you squeeze that out, and I kind of just brush that on one of the pieces of the bread. Add cracked pepper, add some Parmesan cheese, kind of put that on there, and that's really all you need. You could add some fresh herbs if you want, like oregano would be great on there. The other side I would make kind of a pizza bread. So from that tomato sauce, take a little bit of that sauce out, put it down, put it down, put it down, do your thing, do your thing. Then a bunch of mozzarella cheese and salami on top. And again, like if you want to add some oil or even cracked red pepper, if you're splurging, you can do that. Have some fun. I decided to add some mozzarella on the other side as well. Put that in the oven at like 400 degrees and just let it kind of toast up for a few minutes and you are good to freaking go. Eventually you end up with these beautiful pieces of garlic bread that are great to dip in the pasta or just eat on their own. You like me, you really like me. To finish off this amazing Italian feast, which I'm realizing is kind of like a beginner's guide to Italian food, I'm gonna finish up that penne. So once the penne just about cooked, if you feel like it's, you know, give it a taste. If it feels like it's cooked enough and there's a little more water, you can dump some water out. But basically kind of let it chill in there. And then I add in all my tomato sauce and kind of mix that around. And there's gonna be a little bit of water maybe. It can just boil out because what's gonna happen is the pasta is gonna kind of soak up the rest of that water, especially if it's a little bit underdone, and kind of just add more flavor to it. Then you toss in those meatballs. So what's gonna happen now is the meatballs are gonna cook, they're gonna become friends with the sauce, the pasta's gonna become friends with the sauce, the meatballs and the pasta, they all become friends and they're all having this beautiful time together and they're like, hey, we love each other, we love to love each other, Then for the magic, sprinkle in some Parmesan, because in Italian food they love the Parmesan. Again, Parmesan, Pecorino Romano, kind of like mixed together. And then add in some fresh herbs. So I did some fresh basil, some fresh parsley, mix that together, and look how beautiful that is. You end up with this thing, which is like, let's give this a dig, eh? It's no wonder pasta is so addicting. So there we have our glorious Italian feast that costs us the same price as one large delivered pizza from Domino's. So before you go out and just start ordering food and then complaining about how you don't have any money, you can't afford stuff, think about how much food I made. Go to your grocery store, have fun, get creative. This will change your entire life. I'm not kidding you. Making a dish like this will change your entire brain pattern, opening up to a whole new world of possibilities. And you can do amazing things. You can feel well, you can live well, you can eat deliciously, and have a great life. And this is what this is all about. If you like this video, subscribe for much more to Brothers Green. I got some links below for some other videos that are similar. Just kind of making delicious food, living a good life. Peace out.